If you, like me, are already in that The Sims 4 I love you, but mode, get ready for this. The game has just gained a real reason for you to come back and get addicted all over again. The Royalty and Legacy Grand Bundle DLC arrives with that period drama vibe, but The Sims way. Dynasty, intrigue, favoritism, rivalry, and full-scale social chaos. I'm Mary, and today I'm going to tell you everything about this DLC. Ondarion arrives as a breath of fresh air for The Sims 4, finally bringing that political intrigue and court drama the game was missing. The world is divided into 3 neighborhoods that seem to have completely distinct personalities. Dembele, with its focus on the arts and that welcoming atmosphere. Verde Mar, mixing heroic bandits with cunning nobles, which already suggests plenty of conflict and history. And Bellecourt, betting on romance and classic fairy tale opulence. The interesting detail is that each neighborhood has its own rival dynasties, but the throne is empty, which means you truly have the freedom to create whatever stories you want without being stuck in a predetermined narrative. What catches my attention is how each neighborhood seems to offer a different type of gameplay. If you want to focus on building a dynasty based on culture and community, Dembele seems like the ideal place. Verde Mar, on the other hand, has that potential for darker stories with this bandit versus noble dynamic that can yield incredible narratives of rising to power through less orthodox means. Bellecourt is clearly the space for those who want to live that epic period romance, with grand balls and complicated relationships that can change the fate of an entire family. Things get interesting when you realize that these rival dynasties aren't just decoration. They are part of the pack's nobility and scandal system. You can use these inter-neighborhood rivalries to create conflicts, form strategic alliances, or simply cause the political chaos that every good drama needs. The fact that the throne is empty from the start means that any sim can technically get there, whether through sword duels, exposed scandals, or even those power shifts inspired by fairy tales, like pulling the sword from the stone. Ondarion basically gives you the perfect setting to create your own stories of power, betrayal, and legacy without forcing you to follow a fixed script. The Dynasty System finally brings that depth that was missing for those who like to play with families in The Sims 4. Now, you can literally create a family lineage with its own personality, defining core values that will shape how that family behaves for generations. If you choose Passionate, your dynasty will have that vibe of intense relationships and decisions driven by the heart, whereas Mysterious can create a family of conspirators and manipulators. The cool thing is that this isn't just cosmetic. These values affect how your Sims interact, which goals they prioritize, and how the family is viewed by others in the world. The part about designating heirs and outcasts adds a layer of drama that was lacking in the game. You aren't just creating a beautiful family to take photos of, you are literally deciding who deserves to inherit the legacy and who will be excluded, which can generate real resentment and internal conflicts. The Prestige and Unity system works like a sort of health meter for your dynasty. The more united and respected your family is, the stronger it becomes politically and socially. But if you start making unpopular decisions or ignoring family members, unity drops, and then you might face internal rebellions, with Sims questioning leadership or even trying to seize power for themselves. What really differentiates the system is how it encourages you to think long-term. It's no longer about a single sim achieving success. It's about building a family empire that will last generations, where the decisions you make today will impact your great-grandchildren in the future. If you focus only on accumulating prestige but ignore family unity, you might end up with a powerful but completely dysfunctional dynasty, full of members who hate each other and plot against one another. On the other hand, a very united family with no prestige might be happy, but will never conquer that empty throne in Ondarion. It is this balance between political power and family harmony that makes the system interesting and full of narrative possibilities. The noble career completely changes the pace of the game because it finally gets rid of that rigid routine of punching the clock from 9 to 5. The idea of having royal duties without fixed hours is genius, as it allows us to live the Sims life organically while pursuing the throne, starting from the bottom as a noble beginner. This gives an incredible sense of freedom, where your rise depends more on your social smarts and presence in the world than simply logging hours in an invisible office. What really shines here is the strategic depth of the favor and alliances system. You need to choose carefully whether you will curry favor with the nobility or the people, and each choice shapes your reign in a different way. The possibility of making purely strategic marriages brings that narrative weight of medieval dramas that we love, transforming romance into yet another tool of power to consolidate your influence and guarantee political support, rather than just being about attraction or compatibility. And of course, the most fun part is when diplomacy fails and we head straight to direct action with duels to eliminate rivals. It's very satisfying to see that we don't have to be just benevolent rulers. We can be ruthless, issuing decrees that change the rules of the game and literally fighting for our place in the sun. This mix of political management with the physical tension of duels makes the climb to the title of monarch one of the most dynamic and dangerous experiences the game has ever offered. This scandal system is exactly the kind of thing I miss when The Sims 4 stops being perfect life and turns into a real soap opera. A small rumor can grow and turn into a dramatic event, like a forbidden romance or even a secret child appearing at the worst possible moment. I like it because it transforms gossip into a real mechanic, not just cute text scrolling across the screen. And out of nowhere, you realize that your dynasty isn't just fighting for power, but for reputation. The cruel and fun part is that these scandals don't stay isolated. They splash directly onto relationships, hinder your rise, and mess with your prestige, so you can't ignore them and go on with life as if nothing happened. In my head, this makes every social decision more loaded, because a wrong flirt or a poorly hidden affair can turn into a snowball that changes the course of your legacy. It's the kind of system that makes you look twice before acting, because the court always has eyes and ears. And then comes the part I enjoy the most. You choose how to put out or worsen the fire, whether with public apologies, blatant denials, or playing dirty with extortion to turn the tables on a rival. I already see myself taking the most cynical route possible. When the scandal breaks, instead of cleaning up the image, I'd use the chaos as a political tool to take down whoever is in my way. This fits perfectly with the pack's dynasty and prestige vibe, because it seems like every reign will have a different type of crisis to manage. The fencing skill enters the game as that mechanic that gives real weight to the rivalries and political decisions of the royalty and legacy pack. Instead of just exchanging dirty looks and spreading gossip, now you have a physical and direct way to resolve conflicts. Sword duels for love, money, or even promotions within the noble hierarchy. I especially like it because this adds a layer of risk and reward. Every duel can change the course of your career or a romance, and you can't treat it like a simple game. The fact that the skill goes up to level 10 means you really have to train your sim, thinking of them as a knight or duelist, not just as a noble delivering elegant monologues. The idea of tournaments in a gazebo sounds perfect for that medieval festival atmosphere, where the whole family goes to watch your rise to court stardom, and you can even leave fencing as a gene inherited from generation to generation. This fits well with the dynasty concept, because your family can become famous for being the one with the best sword, and not just for titles. And of course, the darkest and most fun side is using the skill for duels against noble rivals. You don't need to resort only to politics, scandals, or marriages. You can simply face the enemy face to face and remove the problem from the game with a winner. This makes every conflict more visceral, with a dramatic weight that fits perfectly with the atmosphere of kingdom, betrayal, and legacy that the whole pack tries to build. For those who like to play with narrative, fencing becomes a perfect support for creating stories of honor, vengeance, and ambition that go far beyond simply getting rich and famous. This idea of backroom lots is sensational because it brings a double life to the setting that we don't usually see in The Sims, almost as if the world had a secret phase that only unlocks at a specific time. Imagine this. You're there on the lot during the day, pretending to study in a library or working out at a gym, everything very proper. But when the sun goes down, the place turns into something totally different. It has that underworld or secret club vibe that adds absurd depth to the narrative, as if the city had secrets that only appear to those who stay up late. The ready-made example in Denver Ballet shows exactly the potential of this to optimize our playtime, avoiding that annoying rhythm break of traveling between worlds just to change the fun. Your sim can spend the day cultivating intellect at the museum and in the same place let loose at night when the space turns into a nightclub without needing to face extra loading screens. This creates a much more organic and even slightly dangerous routine because it mixes the crowds. The scholar of the day might cross paths with the rough crowd from the club at night in the same environment. For those who like to create stories, this is a full plate for that secret identity drama or forbidden meetings, reminding me a lot of RPG hideouts where the facade is a normal shop, but the back room hides the Thieves Guild. It's perfect for hiding those royal scandals. After all, who is going to suspect that the heir to the throne is in a library at 2 in the morning? It's a mechanic that transforms the setting into something living and unpredictable, removing that static set dressing feeling from the city and putting a little chaos and mystery into the routine. Secret passageways are that type of addition that seems simple but completely changes how we build and play, because now you have direct teleportation between lots or even different worlds without needing to go through the travel screen. This isn't just convenience, it's a powerful narrative tool for creating hideouts, escape routes, and those clandestine meetings that make sense within the pack's political intrigue climate. Imagine setting up a secret passage that connects your castle in Bellecourt directly to a hidden tavern in Vertamar, perfect for schemes, dramatic escapes, or simply disappearing when a scandal breaks. The fact that it is a new woohoo location already gives away that EA knows exactly what people are going to do with this. Forbidden romance in places impossible to access normally, increasing the risk of scandal and gossip even more. And there's that macabre detail that I love. The passages can reveal secrets and even trigger a failure in the coffin death, which sounds like that type of deadly trap from an adventure movie where you pull the wrong lever and the ceiling collapses. This adds real danger to exploring and using these passages, so it's not just press the button and teleport. There are consequences. For those who like to build complex stories, secret passageways become a key piece for creating mansions full of mystery, castles with escape tunnels, and even spy networks between rival dynasties. You can literally set up a secret infrastructure for your family, where heirs learn hidden paths that only they know, passing this knowledge from generation to generation as part of the legacy. It's the type of mechanic that turns building into strategic gameplay, where the architecture of your house can be the difference between surviving a rebellion or being cornered with no way out. These Enchanted Powershifts are the icing on the cake for those who, like me, missed that chaotic magic mixed with the everyday life of Sims. The idea that you can skip all the political bureaucracy and simply pull a sword from the stone to prove your worth is genius, because it brings that element of destiny and luck that we see in classic RPGs. It's not just about working hard to move up the ranks, it's about that heroic moment where the game decides if you are the chosen one or not, transforming the ascent to the throne into something much more mythical and less administrative. The dynamic of kissing the noble frog or trying your luck with the crystal slippers adds a humor that is the franchise's trademark, but with real gameplay consequences. I think it's incredible how they turned fairy tale cliches into functional social climbing mechanics. Instead of spending hours socializing at boring parties, you can risk it all by kissing a frog in the hopes that it turns into a prince or princess. It's a dangerous and fun narrative shortcut that serves perfectly for those Cinderella stories we love to create, where luck changes everything in the blink of an eye. And of course, consulting the Enchanted Mirror closes the package with that touch of vanity and paranoia that every ruler needs to have. It's not just a decoration object, it becomes a supernatural advisor that can validate your ego or give you bad news, directly influencing how you feel and act in command of the dynasty. This connects fantasy directly with legacy management, because now your rivals aren't just other nobles, but also the world's own magic, which may or may not be on your side, depending on how you interact with these sacred objects. The Tea Time Solarium is that kit we didn't know we needed until we saw it working, because it transforms the architecture of your lot into something totally different with these giant glass windows that literally bring natural light inside. The functional tea isn't just a decoration item that your Sims hold and pretend to drink, it has real gameplay interaction. And the banquet table is perfect for those epic scenes of family gathered around discussing who will inherit what or conspiring against a rival dynasty. Imagine the scene. You built an immense dining room with those floor-to-ceiling windows. Your Sims are there drinking tea and deciding someone's fate in the family, while the sun comes in, illuminating the table. It's pure period drama aesthetic. The silver screen style comes to complete this retro glamour vibe that matches absurdly well with the royalty theme, especially because this classic Hollywood cinema aesthetic has that historical connection with the lives of stars being treated like royalty. Voluminous jewelry isn't just accessories anymore, they become status symbols. And those faux fur coats, at least it's fake, right, give the impression that your Sim just left a gala premiere or a red carpet. It's good because it gives you the option to play royalty in a more showy and Hollywood way, instead of just that traditional medieval look. Together, these kits create a specific atmosphere that elevates the expansion pack to another level of roleplay. You can literally set up a period movie scene, whether it's a romantic adventure production or something closer to Les Miserables, depending on how you combine the elements. The Tea Time Solarium gives the imposing architectural base, and the silver screen style brings the charm of golden Hollywood. So your reign can alternate between the austere and the glamorous, according to the narrative you want to tell about your dynasty. The Regal Treasures digital content is a classic sneaky move by EA to make us pay in advance, but I confess there are things there that hit right in my weak spot for decor with history. I can already imagine placing the crown of leaves and sparkles in a portrait from generation to generation. That type of item that will symbolize the transition from one heir to another, or perhaps using it as a wedding gift for that Sim who finally won someone's heart after much dueling and scandal. It's small, it's apparently simple, but when building your dynasty's narrative, these details make all the difference to create that feeling that this family really has sacred objects passing from hand to hand. The enemies to lovers sparring dummy is the most welcome joke of the entire pack because it encapsulates exactly the troubled romance vibe that we love to explore in this type of game. You can literally have a combat training mannequin that also serves as a metaphor for your relationship with that rival noble you hate so much but can't stop thinking about. That classic hate to love trope that is the flesh and bone of any good royal soap opera. I can already see the scene of a Sim practicing fencing on it while thinking about the rival, and then out of nowhere, a confused feeling arises. It's perfect for creating that internal character drama that we like to narrate. And the lantern under the stars closes the trio with that almost cinematic romantic touch. Because just imagine creating a scene where two Sims were on opposite sides of a conflict, and the next night they meet in a garden illuminated only by this lantern to make peace or plot something together. It's that item that becomes scenery for decisive moments of your story. It's not just light, it's atmosphere, it's mood. It's the difference between just any scene and that scene you remember after weeks of playing. Together, these three items show that the team really understood that we buy these packs not just for the mechanics, but for the stories we are going to tell with them.